Shalom upon all the children of Israel and Judah forever. Welcome back, citizens of YouTube. The book of Jasher is spoken of in the book of Samuel, twice in the Old Testament and once in the New Testament. The book of Jasher, Jasher, not Joshua, but Jasher. I read about it when I read the scriptures since I was a child, but never knew um, where's the book, who has it. I want to read it, and I don't know anything. Nobody knows anything. Even though it was around in existence for some time now, um, over 100 years now, probably 200 years in English. And so, because of Christianity that deceived me, I avoided anything that was not in this quote unquote traditional 66 books of the Bible. And so I allowed, uh, Christian pastors, leaders, and churches to tell me what to do, what to read, what to believe, or what not to believe, what to accept, and what to not accept, based on bias, all based on bias. And so, like things like even the Dead Sea Scrolls, which mentions other books that was inspired equally with all the other traditional 66 books of the King James Bible and the other Bibles. Um, so anyway, Jasher is a book that goes into the full truth with a whole lot more details than what you read in Genesis. It's similar to the book of Genesis, the creation story to Abraham, all the way to the 12 sons of Jacob and going into Egypt. And it also goes into Exodus story with Moses, all the way up to the book of Joshua, when Joshua took over after Moses' leadership. But in far much more details, giving you even the establishment of the European nations, the African nations, the Asian nations, and where we all come from. All of us in this world come from a tribe, a nation that is spoken of in detail in the Bible. And Jasher brings that out. It's more than that. It is so much connections and answering questions that a lot of us have concerning the book of Genesis and Exodus and the early days. Jubilees also is companion book, or kind of like a contemporary with the timeline from creation, up until the time of around Exodus, thereabout. But Jasher, the reason why I came to fully embrace the book of Jasher is because I was a paralegal. I was doing a lot of paralegal work and studies in Houston, Texas. Texas Southern University, or also known as TSU, has a law school and a law library. I spent a lot of years in the law library, also in Harris County Law Library in Houston, Texas. And in the TSU Law Library, where they train attorneys and everybody study to become attorneys and study for the bar exam, I was in there one day and I saw the book of Jasher. That changed my perception of everything. So I made up my mind. I want to know who had this book put into place. Who suggested that the book of Jasher should be in a law library where attorneys are being trained to be, attorneys, lawyers, legal profession. And so I found a librarian and I spoke to him. I said, "Why did you suggest that this book be in this law library?" And his answer was, just like the Bible is a law book, it's a legal binding document. and there are many books that are not included in the traditional Bibles. So the Bibles in the law library contain the apocryphal books, and the legal reason is because the law, like when Christ talks about the Old Testament, he uses the term the law and the prophets. The law is established in the first books, like Enoch, the book of Enoch, book of Jasher, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and Jubilees. And when you research the Apocrypha and the Dead Sea Scrolls, you will find that there are many other books that were simultaneously written on the same timeline from Genesis up until the first 2,000, 3,000 years, books that cover that timeline of biblical history. So Jasher was also translated into English by some attorneys, some legal attorneys, about I think it was in the 1600s or so, from actually Hebrew, the actual Hebrew manuscripts that was translated into English. It has been kept preserved by the Most High all these years, to verify and back up and also reveal hidden truth that's been hidden for a long time. And now we're living in the last days. It's time for the fullness of the light of all truth to come out and to settle every question, to confirm everything, to give hope and to give more assurance to the faithful, to the saints. And so, for those of us who are faithful to the Most High, we know ourselves to be among the righteous and the saints, which is the biblical terms I'm using, only biblical terms and words to identify who we are. The book of Jasher, I highly recommend to you for study, for reading, for research, for backup, and for clarification for a lot of things that are not clear in the traditional 66 books of the Bible. Um, now, Genesis is correct. Yes, it is. Exodus is correct. Yes, it is divinely inspired. But my message for encouraging you to read the book of Jasher is because it brings out the fullness of truth with as much details as possible, and in a manner that is just in harmony with what we have been reading in the book of Genesis and Exodus this whole time, um, especially for Christians who don't know any better. And I encouraging people to identify yourself with the saints and walk with them as they walked with the Most High. Until next time, shalom upon all the children of Israel and Judah forever. I love you all. Read, study, pray, and accept the book of Jasher.